important evening for us. Each of us wants our child or sibling to be remembered. We mourn their passing, but celebrate the lives that they live and the very special way that they touched our hearts. They changed our lives in so many beautiful ways, and that's what we come together to honor tonight. If it's your first candlelight service, I know this isn't an easy thing to do. It's much easier for some of us that are further down the road, but it's a testament of our love for our sons, our daughters, our brothers, and our sisters. Before we begin, I want to ask each of you to take a moment and be sure your cell phones and your pagers are silenced. And mine is somewhere around, so you gotta be silent. It's not on me. All right? Maybe it's open in the corner. So phone ring, it's probably my name is Dr. Dale Burgess, and I am honored to be your master of ceremonies tonight. There is a poem that personifies the mission statement of the Compassionate Friends. It's by Mary Lee Hall, and I'd like to read it for you. It's called Turn Again to Life. It speaks to where each of us has been, and it talks about holding to the promise of God. If I should die and leave you here a while, be not like others who soar undone, who keep long vigil by the silent dusk. For my sake, turn again to life and smile, nerving thy heart and trembling hand to do something to comfort other hearts and thine. Complete these dear unfinished tasks of mine, and I perchance be bearing comfort to you. Our children and siblings would want us to live with them. They would want to be the first to tell us to grasp life and to carry them forward with us. Those of us in the Compassionate Friends are the wounded healers who come together to comfort others as we ourselves were comforted when we first came. Tonight is about remembering our children individually by name and celebrating ways they touched our lives, and will continue to do so. Many of us are friends through the monthly meetings that we have here, the second Tuesday of each month. And if you haven't been to a meeting lately, I hope you will join us on Tuesday, December 13th at 7:30 p.m. And I'm going to go off script and just say that it was never my intention to be attending Compassionate Friends meetings for this long. My intention was to come to a few meetings and support my wife, and then stop coming because I said that I didn't think that this kind of a group environment was for me. But I'm still coming, and I'm not coming just for me. I'm coming to help support others who are just entering the new stage. So I would encourage you, to encourage others to come. I'm constantly talking about Compassionate Friends to others who are grieving, and I think it is the one thing that has helped us to move forward. You'll hear more about that a little bit later when Dale presents. These meetings, both for parents and for siblings, offer a safe place to talk about all the emotions we're dealing with the people who really do understand. And if you are among those who are further down the road and can be there to support the newer members of our chapter, we would appreciate your help at the meetings. Those meetings have really helped us and helped me to work through a lot. I hope you will give TCF a chance to help me too. Now, I'm just going to take a few minutes to tell you about my beautiful daughter. Actually, I'm just going to take a few seconds because my wife Gail is going to be speaking a little bit later. She'll tell you a little bit more about Jasmine. But Jasmine was 21 when she died. It was one of the most unexpected things in the world. I mean, it's not one of those things that you expect to happen. And so it's you'll never get over it. Grief is one of those things that is going to be with us forever. It's constant, and it never goes away. If you're trying to put it somewhere, you're trying to block it out, it's not going to happen. It's going to be there. So the grief I have for Jasmine will be there forever. She's a beautiful child. I miss her dearly. We miss her dearly. But we'll keep moving forward. She would want us to continue to live our lives and be happy in her absence. So thank you for at least letting me share a little bit about Jasmine and also to hopefully find some way to encourage you as well. Because one of the things that I always felt, it's very easy to get into a rut and just think through and not really never ever move forward. And that's what grief is like. It's really very debilitating. It will kill you. So tonight what we want to do is we want to honor the memories of those that we have lost, our sons and daughters, brothers and sisters. Our children and siblings knew that we loved them, but we tell them again and again by lighting the candles tonight, year after year, that we remember them and that we love them. At this time, we'd like to play a song called From Where You Are. It is sung by Lifehouse. Okay. Now, I'd like to welcome our sibling speaker for tonight. Melissa Place lost her only sister, Michelle, to suicide in 1996. Though she and her parents attended many TCF national conferences, Melissa did not start coming to our local meetings until 2008. Meeting her husband, Glenn, finally gave her the support she needed to go into the deep grief she was carrying for her sister. In our meetings, she learned slowly how to talk about the death and the ways it affected her. The support she has found both in TCF and survivors of suicide has been instrumental in her getting her life back. Some of what she has learned, she is going to share with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Place.
My name is Melissa Place, and I'm here to tell you about my dear sister, Michelle Elizabeth Place. Michelle was 2.5 years older than me, and it seemed that I was born to worship her. She was older than me, and smarter than me, and faster than me, and better than me in every way, as probably most younger siblings feel. I credit her with why it is so easy for me to believe in God. I first believed in my older sister. She was the kind of person who was good at everything. She was voted most likely to succeed by her high school graduating class, which wasn't surprising because she had the rare combination of being personable and incredibly intelligent. It wasn't until she was in college that I started to realize that I had some positive traits and maybe she didn't know everything. It was about this time that things started to fall apart for her. She got diagnosed with manic depression in 1990. She went to therapy, she talked to friends. I was her closest confidant for years. She took her medication, and like most people with that illness, she had good days and bad days. She was on track until she left home, broke up with her boyfriend, and started a graduate program in Chicago. In 1996, she went to a new psychiatrist who prescribed her the wrong medication, which unfortunately led her to committing suicide at the age of 27. Until then, I had no idea how much I relied on her for my own sense of security in the world. When she died, it was as if the plug was pulled and I had no one to rely on anymore. Some of this is the way that my sister died by suicide, but some of it is the nature of our relationship. Like many in this room, I loved my sister so much that half of me died when she died. But it felt like more than half, because I couldn't function anymore without her. I think the nature of the sibling relationship is so complicated and so misunderstood, but the nature of sibling grief is equally baffling to all of us. When my sister died, that felt like the end to me. But as many of you well know, death of a loved one is just the beginning of the grief journey. I grieved for a while, and then I decided that there was no point in continuing to grieve. She wasn't going to come back. I decided that, as a 24-year-old woman, I was not going to let her death define my life. In retrospect, this was not the wisest decision. But I tell you this because I think that siblings are often in the middle of growing up, And this event intrudes on our lives, and we are often not able to give the attention to the grief that is needed, even if we want to. If parents are worried about their children grieving or not grieving, in my opinion, the best thing they can do is take care of themselves. Siblings worry about their parents, whether they say that they are or not, and if their parents are okay. It gives siblings the freedom to grieve in their own way. I am extraordinarily grateful to my parents for standing by me, even at my worst moments. They are kind and brave, and I am so proud of them for going on with their lives, even after my sister died. Their support allowed me to heal. I believe that they were able to be there for me because they went to Compassionate Friends and survivors of suicide. By getting the support they needed, they were able to go on. All that being said, my decision to turn off my grief precipitated a chain of unpleasant events, not the least of which being my fall into anxiety and depression so intense that few of my friends and family wanted anything to do with me by the end of it. It was almost as if I had said to myself, "Oh yeah? You're not going to deal with your grief? We're going to make it so bad for you that you will not have a choice." Because community is the most important thing in the world to me, I was devastated by its lack of closeness, and I made it my mission to connect with people in whatever way I could. I diligently worked to rebuild my life. I spent a lot of time in therapy and other support groups, and one by one, I regained the trust of the people that I loved. I think other people might have found new friends and moved on. For me, I felt like I had already lost so much history by losing my sister. I didn't want to lose anymore. Through this process, I met my dear sweet husband, Glenn, and things finally started looking up. Having his support finally gave me the strength I needed to take on my grief again and finally deal with it this time. The thing I never told him, never told anybody really, is that Glenn is the person that I shouldn't have looked at it. Glenn is the person that is most like my sister than anyone I have ever met. I feel at ease with him in a way that I can't really explain. I have asked him, because he is offended if I accidentally refer to him as her on occasion. It feels so much like being with my sister. So there I was, 12 years after my sister died, and I finally found my way to the Compassionate Friends. My parents had been attending their local meetings in Ohio, and I had gone with them to national conferences, but had never looked up our local chapter until then. We're very fortunate in Atlanta. There are several active sibling groups in TCF, which I have learned is not the case everywhere. The group of siblings here, led by Jim Jurr, welcomed me with open arms and has been a constant source of support over the past 8 years. I learned that we all share a lot of similar feelings, no matter how our siblings died. Knowing I had a group of people to rely on who understood how I felt made me feel I wasn't alone and slowly nurtured me through the grief process. I am forever grateful. Now, I have an extra complication besides the general get-over-it attitude that society feeds to all of us about death of our loved ones. Unfortunately, suicide is considered a socially unacceptable death. There are certain deaths that are stigmatized: drug overdose, HIV deaths, suicide, all fit in that category. So do drunk driving and motorcycle accidents. I am a relatively shy person, so that when people come at me with judgment or shock when I tell them about my sister's death, or simply not knowing what to say because they are uncomfortable, I stop talking. How I have come to feel from being in these groups in TCF is that I lost my sister, and I missed her just as much as anyone who lost their loved one to illness or accident. I suppose I shouldn't be mad at people for having more socially acceptable deaths to deal with than I do. I just wish it was easier for me to talk about. I do not blame myself for my delayed grief. It is what I did, and I can't change it. But I am grateful that I finally had the courage to come to TCF and share my story with others. When I first came to TCF, I learned that I had a lot of shame about death by suicide. that is different from other forms of death, because suicide leaves everyone feeling that they could have done something to prevent it. It tears communities apart with the question of why, and leaves everyone affected by it more susceptible to depression and anxiety. I feel like effectively grieving suicide is a public health issue, not to mention the need for general grief to be seen as a public health issue. Because when it is not handled, it leaves people so broken that it leads to depression and anxiety. The rate for suicides among surviving siblings of a suicide is 3 times higher than the general public. So recovering from this became a personal and political undertaking. I did not want to become a statistic, and I also wanted to be able to support the sadly dozens of friends of mine in my life at this point who have been touched by suicide. Talking was a huge part of this, as was body work to release the emotions held in my body. I learned it wasn't my fault. I learned it was okay to have my feelings, all of them, especially the really loud, unpleasant ones. I learned to be accepting of myself on days when I'm overwhelmed and unable to function. I have learned the importance of connection and friends, and I have learned to talk about it. I am standing up here, but I am in my grief journey as much as you are. I was so angry for so long that I just recently put pictures around the house of my sister. It's so nice. It happened by accident when we moved to just put a few pictures of them. I realized I can handle it a little bit. I talk about her, but it is still hard. I would like to get to the point where I can talk about her without choking up, but I guess it will take practice. For now, I'm grateful for where I am in my journey, in the journey, and that I mostly have myself back. Iris Bolton, founder of the Link Counseling Center for Survivors of Suicide, says that the final stage of grief is making meaning of the death. She also talks about transitioning from a physical relationship to a more psychic one. I definitely appreciate my life more and don't take people for granted since my sister's death. I am grateful on a daily basis for my job, my wonderful parents, my husband, and my friends. I have learned how to take care of myself, and I know how to step back when I need to and relax. I know that I cannot take on the whole world, and that I am far more effective when I engage from a place that is well-rested and happy. I firmly take my place in the world, knowing that I am only one, but I am one. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you tonight. Happy holidays.
And thank you for sharing the poignant story of your sister Michelle and your own grief journey with us tonight. At this time, I'd like to ask Mike Mann from our chapter steering committee to come forward and read the litany of remembrance. Mike.
In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring. In the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of the summer. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn. At the beginning of the year and the ends. When we are weary and in need of strength. When we are lost and sick at heart. When we have joys we yearn to share. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are a part of us.
Thank you, Mike. At this time, we'd like to honor our children with another song. This one is called Tell Your Heart to Beat Again by Danny Goldman. Our next speaker is Gail Burgess, my wife. Though it's only been 23 months since join me in welcoming my dear wife, Gail Burgess.
Thank you, Dale, for that introduction. Good evening, fellow compassionate friends and guests. When I mentioned to Dale and Maureen that I came across an article that I wanted to share with you at the candlelight service, little did I know I'd be the parent speaker for this evening. I also never thought, that I would be in front of you this evening. So I guess I'll try to share how I got here. And I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be strong for Jasmine. Jasmine Melissa Burgess, Angel Day, was January 10, 2015. It's the day that changed my life. I didn't know it was her Angel Day until the next day. So from that day, I was involved. I was functioning, but everything seemed unreal, surreal, as most people like to say. I was going through emotions. Jasmine was Dale and my only child. But Dale and I were surrounded by friends, family, church members, sorority sisters, fraternity brothers, neighbors, co-workers, and lots of people. People were there for us. That helped. It made a difference. I cannot imagine having gone through this experience without that level of support. During that time, Dale received an email from a coworker. She shared her experiences of losing a child. Then she told us about this organization that helped her. That was Compassionate Friends. And about 2 months later, we attended our first meeting of this chapter. We didn't know what to expect. And as we listened to many of you tell your stories, we felt that you expressed a lot of what we were feeling. There was a common thread. This group knew what we were going through. So we kept coming. We kept coming back to meetings. Those meetings made a big difference in our grieving process. Our journey became just a little bit easier, just a little. How did we make it through the first weeks, the first months, the first year after the passing of our beloved Jasmine? Once it settled in that Jazz was no longer with us, we realized that we needed to find ways to fill that space and that time. Although she was 21 and a young adult, Jasmine was a big part of our lives. She lived at home while finishing her college degree. We spent time together daily. We shopped, we ate out, went to movies, went to church, watched TV programs, traveled. We did a lot of activities together. We were like sisters. I was her mom, but I was also her big sister. I didn't know what I would do without her. I didn't know how I would feel that time. Nothing seemed as important. But let me tell you, I'm a person of strong faith. So my faith has helped me contend with the loss of my only baby. Without it, I don't think I'd be standing here. But even after that, we wanted to find ways to start remembering her. Excuse me. And I want to share some of those ways with you. Right after her passing, my cousin made me a video scrapbook. It included pictures of Jasmine from birth to adulthood. She set it to Beyonce's song, Heaven. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's quite a moving song. I pull it out whenever I need to see her. On birthdays, angel days, special occasions, during the holidays. Just whenever I need to see her, I have that video. Our church does a graduation ceremony for graduates. In 2015, classmates from high school and her choir director came and did a mini concert for her. They presented us with a collage of her family and friends. And Chelsea, one of my other daughters who's here this evening, gave us her 2015 graduation cap with Jazz's name on it. So we cherish that as well. In the following months, we received financial donations from our friends and family. We couldn't use those funds. They would have come in handy. But we wanted to do something in Jasmine's memory. So we decided to establish a scholarship fund. We gave 2 scholarships in 2015 and 2 book awards in 2015. And we had some funds left over, and we decided that we'd give another scholarship in 2016 and 2 more book awards. In July of 2015, Jasmine received her bachelor's degree in health information technology posthumously. Her dad and I accepted her degree, and we invited friends and family to attend her graduation ceremony and a celebration lunch. We had a good time celebrating Jasmine. She was the only one who wasn't there, but we had a good time. So we know the holidays are not easy for any of us. During Christmas, last year, our first Christmas without her, I ordered Christmas ornaments with her pictures on. She will be on the Christmas tree every year. Dale and I exchanged gifts with pictures of her and just little items that sort of honor Jasmine. And I found this necklace. It's my angel necklace, which on the back it says, "Always with you." I wear it almost every day. So that's another way that I try to remember her. On special days, like her angel day, her birthday, we get together with friends and our other daughters, and we have dinner and share stories about her. And let me just mention these young ladies, our other daughters. 2 of them are here tonight. I have 5. 3 couldn't make it, but 2 are here. Stand up, Chelsea and Whitney. These young ladies have been very instrumental in helping us get through this journey. They remember us on birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and other special occasions. They're lovely young ladies to have around, and we love them and we appreciate them being here for us. In the coming months, we will establish a nonprofit organization in Jazz's name to benefit young people. I decided to do it in 2017, and we'll continue to give at least 1 scholarship each year. And Jasmine loved little children, so we're going to find projects that benefit little children as well. So these are just a few of the things that we've done in the 22 months and 23 days that Jasmine has been gone. So I guess we've kind of been pretty busy honoring her. So I want to share that with you. The other thing I want to share with you is a piece, an article that I found, excuse me, I have extreme sinus condition. And I need to drink water, so bear with me. A piece I found called "The 7 Things I've Learned Since the Loss of My Child." It's by Angela Miller. I'm going to read excerpts. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read excerpts of it for you. Child loss is a loss like no other, one often misunderstood by many. If you love a bereaved parent or know someone who does, remember that even his or her good days are harder than you could ever imagine. Compassion and love, not advice, are needed. If you'd like an inside look into why the loss of a child is a grief that lasts a lifetime, here is what I learned in my 2 years of trekking through the unimaginable. Love never dies. There will never come a day, hour, minute, or second that I stop loving or thinking about my child. Just as parents of living children unconditionally love their children, always and forever, so do bereaved parents. same as non-bereaved parents do. I want to speak about my deceased child as normally and naturally as you speak of your living ones. I love my child just as much as you love yours. The only difference is mine lives in heaven, and talking about her is unfortunately quite taboo in our culture. I hope to change that. Our culture isn't so great about hearing about children gone too soon, but that doesn't stop me from saying my Jazzie's name and sharing her love and light everywhere I go. Just because it might make you uncomfortable doesn't make her matter any less. My child's life was cut short, but love lives forever and ever. Bereaved parents share an unspeakable bond. In my 2 years navigating the world as a bereaved parent, I am continually struck by the power of the bond between parents. Strangers become kindreds in mere seconds. A look, a glance, a knowing of the heart connects us, even if we've never met before. No matter our circumstances, who we are, or how different we are, there is no greater bond than the connection between parents who understand the agony of enduring the death of a child. I will grieve for a lifetime. Period. The end. There is no moving on or getting over it. There is no bow, no fix, no solution to my heartache. There is no end to the ways I will grieve and for how long I will grieve. There is no glue for my broken heart, no elixir for my pain, no going back in time. For as long as I breathe, I will grieve and ache and love my child with all my heart and soul. There will never come a time where I won't think about who my child would be, what she would look like, and how she will be woven perfectly into the tapestry of my family. For every missed birthday, holiday, milestone, should be back to school years, and graduations, weddings that will never be, grandchildren that should have been, but will never be born, an entire generation of people are irrevocably altered forever. This is why grief lasts forever. The ripple effect lasts forever. The bleeding never stops. It's a club I can never leave, but it's filled with the most shining souls I've ever known. This crappy club called Child Loss is a club. It's a club I never wanted to join, and one I could never leave. Yet, it is filled with some of the best people I've ever known. And yet, we all wish we could jump ship, that we could have met any other way. Any way but this. Alas, these shining souls are some of the most beautiful, compassionate, grounded, loving, movers, shakers, and healers I have ever had the honor of knowing. They are life changers, game changers, relentless survivors and thrivers, warrior moms and dads who redefine the word love. If you've ever wondered who some of the greatest world changers are, hang out with a few bereaved parents and watch how they live. See what they do in a week, in a day, in a lifetime. Watch, excuse me. Love is the most powerful force on earth. thankful you did. The empty chair, the empty room, the empty space never becomes less empty. Empty chair, empty room, empty space in every family picture. Empty, vacant, forever gone for this lifetime. Empty spaces that should be full everywhere we go. There is and will always be a missing space in our lives, our families, a forever home in our hearts. No matter how you look at it, empty is still empty. Missing is still missing. Gone is still gone. The problem is nothing can fill it. Minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, month after month, year after heartbreaking year, the empty space remains. No matter how long it's been, holidays never become easier without my child. Never, ever. Have you ever wondered why every holiday season is like torture for a bereaved parent? Even if it's 5, 10, or 25 years later? It's because they really, truly are. Imagine if you had to live every holiday without one or more of your precious children. Imagine how that might feel for you. That is why holidays always and forever are hard for bereaved parents. Don't ever wonder why or even try to understand. No, you don't have to understand in order to be a supportive presence. Consider supporting and loving some bereaved parents this holiday season. It will be the best gift you could ever give them. And last, because I know deep sorrow, I also know unspeakable joy. Though I will grieve the death of my child forever, and then some, it does not mean my life is lacking happiness and joy. Quite the contrary. In fact, though it took a while for me to get here, it's not either or, it's both and. My life is more rich now. I live from a deeper place. I love deeper still. Because I grieve, I also know a joy like no other joy. The joy I experience now is far deeper and more intense than the joy I experienced before my loss. Such is the alchemy of grief. My life now is more rich and vibrant and full, not despite my loss, but because of it. In grief, there are gifts, sometimes many. These gifts don't in any way make it all worth it, but I'm grateful beyond words for each and every gift that comes my way. I bow my head to each one and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Because there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that I take for granted. Life, living life in this way, gives me greater joy than I've ever known possible. I have my Jazz to thank for that. Being her mom is the best gift I've ever been given. Even death can't take that away.
Thank you, Gail, for sharing with us. And after tonight, a great many more people will know
most of you who probably attended TCF meetings, so you know that the support that you get here is the kind of support that you do not get anywhere else. So I would encourage you to continue to come to our meetings, to encourage others to come to our meetings, and I'm going to go off script again because I'm an educator, so I do this. And so you'll have to shut me up and sit me down. You know, this thing about grief, you have to just keep fighting it. It's not you can't give up. You got to fight back. You can't let it win. You can't let it take you down. And so I would say to you, and I know it's probably difficult to figure out how to do that sometimes, but you just got to fight back. You can't let it beat you up. You can't let it beat you up. It'll take you down. Enough of the preaching. Next, I'd like to ask Kari Timothy from our chapter steering committee to come forward to read while we light the memory candles. I'd also like to ask Denise Polkler, to come forward along with Jess Jess, thank you. My tongue couldn't say it. Sunny Underwood, Tom West, and Arnie Moskowitz to come forward to light them as they are read. Shakari.
Good evening, all. Memory candles. As we light these candles in honor of you, we light the one. We light one for our grief, one for our courage, one for our memories, one for love, and one for hope. This candle represents our grief. The pain of losing you is intense. It reminds us of the depth of our love for you. Our joy and our sorrow are inseparable. This candle represents our courage to confront our sorrow, to comfort each other, to change our lives. This candle we light in your memory. Remember the times we laughed, the times we cried, the times we were angry with each other, the silly things you did, the caring and the joy you gave us. This light is also for the memories that will never be Even though our memories can bring pain, in time we will look upon our memories of you as yesterday's gifts to our heart. This candle is a light of love. It reminds us of our love for you and memories that will last forever. We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift of your love. We thank you for the joy your loving brought to each of us. This candle is a light of hope. We light this candle that your light will always shine. May the glow of the flame be our source of hopefulness now and forever. We love and we live.
Okay, now it is time for all of us to come forward as family units to light our candles in memory of our children or siblings. Special friends who may be joining you tonight are also invited to come forward with you. We ask that only one member of each family announce the name of your child, grandchild, or sibling as your candles are lit. While some of you may have experienced the loss of someone else you hold dear, perhaps a spouse, a grandparent, or friend, we ask that you remember those people silently in your hearts and announce only the name of your child or sibling. Also, we ask that you please be careful that the wax from the candle doesn't drip in the church. It's not our church. Dean Watson will come forward first to light his candle. Then he will play piano for us as everyone else lights their candles. Dean plays for us in memory of his daughter, Jenna. After Gene lights his candle, I'll ask everyone to line up in the side aisles and then return to your seats by the middle aisle. We'll start with this side, okay? We'll start with this side of the church first, lining up in the side aisle. After everyone on the side of the church has lit their candle, we'll begin with the other side of the church, again with everyone lining up in the side aisles and returning down the middle aisle. So, let's get started. Lance, please dim the lights while the candles are being lit.
I light this candle in honor of my daughters, Shay and Kathleen. I light this candle in honor of my son, Casey. I light this candle in memory of my daughter, Kristen.
I light this candle in memory of my daughter, Candy.
I'd like to begin with the memory of my son, Matthew Norton.
I light this candle in memory of my son, Ken.
I light this candle in memory of my daughter, Jasmine.
I'd like this candle in memory of my son, Solomon Jackson.
I'd like this candle in memory of my daughter, Imani.
I light this candle in memory of my sister, Michelle. I light this candle in memory of our daughter, Maeve Cullen. I light this candle in memory of my brother, Aaron.
I light my candles in honor of my brothers, Kirk and Sam.
I light my candles in memory of my son Patrick, and my daughter Kathleen, and my son Chris.
I light my candle in memory of my brother Michael.
I light my candle in memory of my grandson, Gabriel, and in memory of my brothers, Robert, Calvin, and William.
I light this candle in memory of my sons. We light our candles in memory of my brothers, Derek, Kelly, and Jonathan Kelly.
candles in memory of my sister's image. We light our candles in memory of our brother and son, David. We light our candles in memory of our siblings, Marilyn and Johnny.
I light my candle in honor of my daughter, Anna.
I light this candle in honor of my son, Fernando.
Light the candles in memory of our daughter, Aubrey.
We light this candle in memory of her son and our brother, Michael.
For my son, Robert, and my brother, Steve.
We light these candles for my son and daughter.
I light this candle in memory of my son Michael and my brother Stanley.
Before our closing, we'd like to share one final song, I'll See You Again by Westlife. You may keep your candles lit during the song. All right, so we do have some people who came in late, and we'd like to give them the opportunity to light their candles. So if you did come in late, we'd like to light your candle, please.
I light this candle in memory of our son, John.
So now we'll have the final song of the evening, I'll See You Again by Westlife. Okay, we can all extinguish our candles. fellowship hall, I want to thank all those who helped with planning and staging this memorable night, especially those listed on the last page of our program, and those who helped this afternoon and will stay tonight to help clean up. If you recall, when we began this evening, we announced that this is the 36th annual candle lighting for this chapter. I believe we are the oldest continuing chapter in the state of Georgia. That is only possible because of the volunteers who have stepped forward each year after year after year to do this for our group. It's because of volunteers that we are able to be here for the new families that come to our meetings month after month with no stopping. If you have not volunteered to help with this program or to come back for our meetings, then perhaps you might want to think about stepping up. Remember, back to your own first meeting and what your journey would have been like if there had been no one there to tell you that you did not have to face the worst time of your life by yourself. That because of TCF, you would never have to walk alone. If there are those among you who might be able to help with this effort, please see any one of our steering committee members during the session. And if you're on the steering committee, would you raise your hand so that the people in the audience will know who you are? So any of these people who you see whose hands are raised and running back as well, please talk to one of them before you leave tonight. I'm supposed to ask you to stand, so would you please stand? Ask you to raise your hand. Stand up too. Stand, please. Thank you. See what happens when you go off script, right? It's a labor of love, and you will bring rewards you cannot imagine. Many of us have special things that we do or have done in our children's memory. This could be another opportunity to honor them as well, so please give us a thought. Also, Gail wanted me to let you know that that last part of the speech that she read, she has that copy, and I believe those copies are in the back, so they will be, and if you want to pick up a copy of that and also order, I believe it's a book as well, there's information on how to make that happen. Before we close, for those who ordered a poinsettia or a poinsettia, please don't forget to take it with you this evening after the potluck. There will be a basket near the front of the fellowship room where you make a donation toward our expenses if you are able. So now, please, and again, let me say thank you very much for coming out this evening. I know there are places that you probably would rather be, but this is, this is our destiny, this is our path, and this is where we are, and this is the support, and this is where we get our strength. So I encourage you to come back, join the group, and be active with the group. So please join us in the fellowship room. There's a slideshow, there are gifts of food and drink. And on behalf of the Tucker chapter of PCF, Compassionate Friends, thank you for coming